A very good afternoon to all of you, and thank you very much for coming to today's session. Tan Sri has spoken in great length at Malaysia Innovation Hub. Of course, he is the chairman, and afterwards I'll give you a very quick rundown of what we actually do, and then what I mean by commercialization and what we call financial sustainability. So before I do that, maybe I'd just like to share some stories with you. How many of you have attended my lectures before? One, two. Okay, if you have, please bear with me again, because some of the jokes and stories I tell will be old jokes, okay? But anyway, just to start off with, whatever we do, we have to start off with some philosophy in life. And maybe I just share with you a story called the Magic Soapstone. So this is a philosophy story. This is start about an old soldier just fighting a war, and then after the war was about to be over, he went back to his old kampong in China. So as he walked back, he kicked against a stone, and he took it up. Said, wow, this is a very interesting piece of stone. We'll keep it. And then he went to the nearest village, and he was so hungry, and he banged on the door. And the first house that he came to, he said, I'm a soldier returning home, and I'm very hungry. Can you give me some food to eat? And they said, don't you realize that there's a war going on? We have hardly enough for us, for our family. So then bang the door. Go to the next house, same response. Next house, same response. But he's still hungry. So he said, okay, why don't I look at things from a different perspective? So what he did was, he built a fire in the middle of the square, and he put a big pot of water there. And he boiled water. And after that, he banged the gong, the Chinese gong, 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 gong. Everybody came out from the village and said, what's going on? And then said, today is your lucky day. I'm going to give you beautiful, beautiful soup. They said, what do you mean? It's just a pot of water. Said, no, what I've got is a magic soapstone. If I drop this into the water, it will create magic soup. The soup will be so beautiful. They're all curious, and so flock around him. Drop the stone into the water, boil, and then they tasted it. Ah, this is wonderful soup. But it would taste better if we got some meat. What do you think? Has anybody got extra meat? So somebody said, I got some meat in the house or this and that. Well, come, just throw it in. So stir. Tasted it again. Ah, it tastes very good. But it would taste better if you got vegetables inside there. So somebody said, I got some veggies. I put in, then stir, tasted. It would be better if you got some rice in there. So somebody said, I got extra rice, throw in. Oh, what about seasoning? I got pepper, I got salt, I got this and that. So stir, and subsequently, everybody got to taste the soup. And it was very good soup, because it's got all the things that's required for a good soup. Plus, of course, the stone. So then, after that, everybody was happy, and they said, this is very good soup. So when he was about to go back to his village, he said, I've got nothing to leave to you all. I had a very good time, and I enjoyed myself, and I'm full now. I can only leave you one thing, this stone. Every time you feel hungry, please go ahead, make soup together. Everybody contribute, and everybody benefit. So that is the moral of the story. And again, that is the moral story, also the philosophy of what the Malaysia Innovation Hub does. So I'll just give a quick rundown. So it was actually started at the time when I was in the Prime Minister's office. We were doing internship program for students from University of Malaya and all that. I went around every university. I took 1,000 students from the Malay and the Bumbu Trust, put them to Chinese businesses, just to let them learn about the way to do business the Chinese way. Business, how it is run, and supply chain management, etc., etc. So it was a very successful program. And then, of course, I met up with Tan Sri, and then Tan Sri said, that's very good. Vincent, why don't you learn to, what I call, help the professors to become businessmen as well? So I said, that's interesting, turning professors into businessmen. Shall I look into that? And then we did. I proposed the idea to the Ministry of Higher Education, and they bought the idea. And subsequently, it was put into the shift number 7 of the education blueprint for the higher education to create what we call ecosystem for innovation. And at the time, we decided that it will be a government-assisted organization, but will not be a government agency. So it will be run on what we call a foundation concept. So it is a foundation today. I came up with my own personal funds of $1 million to start the foundation. And then we set up a board of trustees. And subsequently, we have got people like Sri, myself, Professor Amin, and Dr. Sat, he is from NUMOS. Dr. Tan, he is from the Chinese Chamber. Dr. Andy is from the FMM, Federation Manufacturer Malaysia. And of course, we have other members as well. Right now, we are in the 19th floor of the University Malaya Wisma R&D. And we have about 15,000 square feet there. And we are actually having a lot of people walking in and out. You are most welcome to come over, and then we'll move from there. So, of course, I go to all the universities. That's my role. So we start up with University of Malaya, UPM, UTM, and down there, the bottom there, I put down Sunny University, because Utah also, I work with them very closely. So the others are also there, and we have working arrangements with Siri, Mimos, and all that, Green Tech, and BOB. And of course, I know that Malaysian, our innovation standard has not really reached world class yet. So what I did was, I went to other countries, and then I tied up with Taiwan, because I thought that Taiwan would be a very, very good model. They do not have any natural resources, they don't have oil and gas, neither do they have big, vast tracts of land. The actual size of Taiwan is smaller than Pahang, by the way. So I tied up with them. We have tied with Triple I, which is all on ICT, Hsinchu Science Park, a very, very successful science park. And just one science park alone at its peak was 8% of the whole total Taiwan's GDP. And I tied with Hong Kong Science Park, Hong Kong TBC, big innovation center of UK, and then a 5G innovation center. Sorry. Of course, without universities backing, I do not get a lot of innovations. So these are some of the universities that I work closely with. Surrey, Cambridge, Nottingham, in Taiwan it's Tsinghua, Hong Kong UST, Longhua, Hong Kong CTU. These are just some of the universities that we work closely with. And of course, the private sector. I'm from the private sector originally, therefore I was very, very close with the Chinese chambers, and also with the FMM, and of course, very close with the Taiwanese and the Hong Kong groups, as well as China. In my years of working in the government, I also got to know the GLCs very closely, ranging from Tenaga Nasional, SAMW, FGV, Maybank, etc., etc. Of course, we also work with other companies as well, like Alibaba, Castro. Alibaba is also our partner. You'll be seeing some advertisements in the future about setting up another Alibaba in Malaysia together with MIH. So we are also doing what we call a science park in Malaysia at the Malaysia Airport Berhad Land. If you fly into Heathrow Airport, you see lots and lots of science parks around the Heathrow Airport. But in Malaysia, you fly down, you see palm oil trees. So hopefully that's about to change to become another new science park. We have about 6,000 acres there to turn into a science park. So our partner will be the Taiwanese science park, what we call just now the Hsinchu. We are also looking at supporting the other activities, such as the Malaysia Innovation Center, in collaboration with Create of Singapore. If you are familiar with Singapore scene, that's another concept. We are also looking at the Malaysia Education City. This will be catering to foreign students to come from, especially from eastern part of Asia, mainly China, Korea, and other countries. Okay, so that's just a quick introduction. So what do we actually do for MIH, and how do we work? So basically, we just look at 5 things here. What are the market needs? And what are the trends on the market? And what are the innovative solutions? Do we have an ecosystem to support it? And then, of course, finally, the business plan. How do you actually sell things? So going back to this concept, whatever we do, whenever I go to any university, the first thing is I will ask them, is your product or your idea what we call applicable worldwide? Is it global? And of course, number 2, do you know what the trend is? And of course, is your product really innovative or just so-so? And of course, the ecosystem. Do you have enough people in your team to come up with a world-class standard product, or I need to tie with another university or a research center? And finally, of course, we need to talk about sustainability. Is there products that can be sustained over long term? And there must be market traction. It's not that you've got a good product, you must have a product that people want to buy. So what is our commitment? So we are talking about bringing all the companies that we move in Malaysia, and we will list them worldwide, either in New York, in Taiwan, in Hong Kong, Singapore, Malaysia, or Australia. So our KPI, everybody needs KPI. So when I put this with the Ministry of Higher Education, so at the time they said, Vincent, what do you think? I take 300 companies capable of being listed anywhere in the world in 3 years. They said, fine, that's a good start from 0. And we are talking about creating at least 2,000 entrepreneurs, technopreneurs, properly trained. Because I need people to run companies, not just creating companies. And of course, job placement. We need to have jobs for everybody. Otherwise, like we said just now, unemployment in this country, especially for graduates, is not very rosy at the moment. So we collaborate with any university worldwide here. And then we are trying to talk about common goal of making the world a better place. So what are the key innovation centers that we always like to look at? Easy things that we do not need to reinvent the wheel. We are not after fancy things. Food is required by everybody. Water is required by everybody. Energy is important. Health, environment, infrastructure. These are just very basic core needs. You find these core needs in Malaysia, China, India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, anywhere. So just some of the examples of universities that I work with. So platform technology is our basis. Whatever technology that we want to do, it has to be a platform that can generate many other businesses from that. So let's say we talk about a project with UKM, palm oil into polyurethane. If I can turn palm oil into a plastic football, into a shoe, into a sofa, so at least it's a different product from just cooking oil. Supercritical carbon dioxide. I'm sure you heard of carbon dioxide, but you have probably not seen supercritical carbon dioxide. This one is a new technology that can extract oil from anything. So you have got agarwood, I can extract agarwood oil for you. If you have got, let's say, coconut, I can get virgin coconut oil for you without the traditional method. Nanotechnology. So we are talking about desalination of water worldwide. These are some of the things that we do. Paper technology, greening the desert, helping the fallow land in Europe. If you ever go to England, you will find that there's a lot of land where they put tarpaulin or plastic sheets, so we can actually do something different. Wind turbine. Wind is, of course, the next big thing. Everybody's looking for wind energy. So we work with a lot of products, different technologies from Hong Kong, from USA, from Australia, and all that. Vanadium redox energy storage. Probably have not heard about it, but it is a very big thing. You can store energy 5 megawatt per day. You store at night, you release in the daytime. Or alternatively, it can be used to power vehicles. Our vision is that you do not need to have petrol kiosks in the future. everybody will be driving cars powered by the sun or from the grid. That would, of course, depress the petrol price even more. Nanoceramic. How do you make plastic bottles for Coca-Cola from cornstarch, from tapioca starch? These are some of the things that we do. Biodiversity. Malaysia is so famous for Tauka Ali and all that, but elsewhere, nobody knows about our products at all. So, please come back. Today I'll just give a few case studies because time is limited. So let's say we talk about the first one we mentioned on water treatment. So we work in the UTM, and a few other universities on nano membrane for water treatment. So we can actually talk about what is the requirement. As we all know, water is a big issue worldwide. We have issues from in India, for example in Calcutta, in Dhaka, where there's arsenic poisoning of water. Even closer to home, we have arsenic poisoning of water in Hanoi, in what we call in Mekong Delta, in Saigon. In China, we have lead poisoning in the water, heavy metal poisoning, unscrupulous industrialists pumping all these pollutants into the earth, causing damage to the water table. What do we do with all those? We need to have solutions. What is the future trend? So we need to know what are the costs involved. Presently, people use reverse osmosis. In future, what do we do? So we are looking at innovation that are very good to help in the matter. Water desalination, removal of arsenic, heavy metals, industrial application, zero discharge. At the moment, a lot of factories around the world, not only in Malaysia, have problems with regard to industrial water treatment. What about even basic things like kidney dialysis machine? Can we come up with better systems using membrane so that you can just clean your kidney and your blood within an hour rather than the 4 hours today? Can it be made into a portable machine that you can carry around with you when you want to travel to Europe or Hawaii? So these are some of the things that we do. So what about the business model? So assuming we have this, we have to start looking. Who is our partner? Let's say we talk about kidney dialysis. We will have to work with companies that are dealing with health matter. If we talk about water treatment, we go to countries like Bangladesh. They really need good water treatment system. India, like I mentioned just now, arsenic problems are a huge problem there. So we need to know where the market is. China, the moment you tell them that you've got a good system to remove lead from your water, they will be very happy. Okay, so this is what we talk about. But again, sustainable commercialization. We need to set up companies. All of these have vast commercial applications. But where do we go from there? Do we list a company in Malaysia? Can Malaysia supply such technology all over the world? Or we collaborate? Or we set up base in India itself? Or set up base in Indonesia or in China? So these are things that we do. We always look for optimization. So this is just one example. Supercritical, I mentioned just now. Just using a simple technology, we can do agarwood oil, which is a huge industry in future. Maybe not today, but I believe you all heard about gaharu oil, which is the same as agarwood. It's a big industry. Will it take over the rubber tree plantations? Maybe. But if it's a good technology, definitely go. Virgin coconut oil is a very big industry. Everybody is now promoting it. How do we promote it as well? Virgin palm kernel oil, omega-3 oil. All these are huge potential. What we have done is we have to look for the right way to extract it, best price, easiest way, and different models. And of course, we are talking about who will be our partners. Technology partners, we go to Taiwan to look for the technology, we go to Holland, we go to France, look for the best technology. And who will be the one that will finally work with us? The distributors of omega-3 oil, the virgin coconut oil, the planters, the Saudi Arabia people who wants to buy agar oil, the Chinese in China who wants to buy the joss-stick powder from the agar tree. So just from one technology alone, we have created many, many different types of industries. Vanadium redox. Again, same thing I mentioned to you. Countries with brownout problems, you have got light or you got blackout, but brownout means there's not enough electricity in the market. If you go to countries like the Philippines, Indonesia, Vietnam, they are so-called brownout countries. Suddenly, the leaves start to smooth up slowly. The lights dim. That's called brownout. We have the technology to store 5 megawatt, 10 megawatt at night at low prices and use the power in the daytime. And we are actually developing it right now, joint venture with universities from Australia, from Germany. So we are moving very, very fast. Who are the market? Vietnam, Manila, Myanmar. These are some of the things. But it also can be used as a replacement for lithium-ion battery for electric cars or EV, electric vehicles. So we are working with Taiwan Italy. They are the one who created the Tesla car. We are working with the BYD. Those who are in cars business, you know, BYD means the biggest Chinese electric car manufacturer based in Shenzhen. We work together with Hong Kong Open City University, and we are going through all this joint venture partnership. If it work, huge market. EV or electric vehicles is something that's required in China in a big, big way. They have lots and lots of carbon dioxide problem. Of course, again, we have to talk about creating business entities. Where do we bring the company to? Hong Kong or Beijing or New York? All these are potential. So each business we want to maximize returns. Biodiversity, same thing. The government said, Vincent, from now on, all the universities who have been doing a lot of work on biodiversity, everybody is doing work on Tonga Ali, Kachip Fatima, and what have you. But they are not marketed properly. They're all backyard industry, and they are pasar malam industry. How do I bring it into China, which is a huge, huge market? So this is just some of the issue. So I go over to Hong Kong, I go over to Taiwan, and they have the funds to bring it to the next level. Another one, bioplastic, like I mentioned. Bioplastic is harnessing the trend. The whole world now is going towards bioplastics. The Olympic Games in Tokyo 2020 will only use bioplastics for the shoes, for the football, for the sling bag, even for the tracksuits. So who is providing all this? Of course, when I deal with the Taiwanese, they said they're using soybean oil. So I said, why not consider palm oil, which is a cheaper alternative, and we can guarantee you long-term supply. But on the other hand, Malaysian government is also very happy to hear that we can actually have alternative uses for our Malaysian products rather than just selling as cooking oil. We have 2.5, 2.7 million tons of oil waiting in the stockyard at the moment, and nobody using it, waiting for the Chinese buyer, Indian buyers. But we do have alternative uses. And of course, creating business entity. How do you have high profile that people know about your product? Olympic Games, Football World Cup, these are just some of the examples. So now I just leave it to open discussion. Like Tan Sri just now said, I also work with Sunway University. In fact, I'm looking forward to signing a MOU with Sunway very soon, and then hopefully the 7 companies will take off. They are all the same principle. They have got beautiful, beautiful technology from Sunway, but nobody knew. It's just like unpolished diamonds waiting to be discovered. But again, people like me, we are tasked to look for such unpolished diamonds and then really turn them into something that's quite useful. But not just selling as a diamond, but creating an industry out of it. So if you all want to know more about what I work and how I work with Sunway and how I'm going to generate some funds for Sunway and put it onto the world map, we will have a signing ceremony, and then I will give a full presentation about project by project, and what is the rationale, why we do it that way, why do we have Cambridge, Johns Hopkins, Oxford, Edinburgh, London School of Economics, all brought in. So not only talking about a product from Malaysia, but products worldwide, and in collaboration with all the research centers around the world. So thank you very much. I believe I've not taken too much of your time. Hopefully you have learned a little bit, but I have open discussion. As I always like to tell people, innovation is interaction. Your ideas are most welcome, and many thanks. But before I end, I'd just like to crack a joke so that you all can wake up. As I mentioned just now, I was a practicing lawyer. I have a few law firms. They are the ones who actually funded me. So I said, you guys better fund me. I've been running you guys for years, so they can cough up the money and give it to me. And then of course, after that, I worked in the government as a political secretary in the Prime Minister's office. And now, I move around the university every day. And I'm like a half professor, maybe. So I'd like to crack a joke for you before you all fall asleep. One day I just went to my law firm, and then I saw a beautiful lady sitting there. I said, can I help you? She said, yeah, I want to get divorced. I said, wow, no problem. I handle divorce cases. This is my third divorce. I said, wow, it must be interesting. You must have a very, very exciting life, all this. Why? All this while, third husband. I said, not really. I'm a virgin. I said, a virgin? That's very interesting. How come you're a virgin? Oh, my first husband is like you. He's a lawyer. Always talking about it, but he never did it. I said, that's bad. What about your second husband? Oh, he's a professor. Always lecturing about it, but he didn't do it either. I said, wow, that's bad. What about your present husband? Oh, he's a politician. He's been promising to do it for a long time. He hasn't done it. Okay, so just do it. Thank you very much. I'd like to have some feedback in case anybody wants. But if not, then Country would wrap up the session. Thank you.
Vincent, I suspect some of those ideas are coming out from the public universities.
They're all from public universities.
Looking at it, I can remember some of them are also those coming out from the high impact center of excellence. Tan Sri knows well as I know well because I was from the Ministry of Higher Education. So, and I think the reason why my innovation hub came out to me was because of the weaknesses that we have in the public universities. I mean, all the public universities, I think the top 5 will have their commercial arms. Even in Maya and where USM, which I came from, you have Uniscience Holdings. They are supposed to be using all this research and commercializing it and patenting it. Somehow or other, those commercial arms, those private, those government universities have not done their job. I think this is the reason why if my innovation hub has come up and mopping up all these new innovations that's coming up from university, they don't really know how to market it, or they don't find partners into doing. Then I think you are in a very good position to actually capitalize on those ideas that has been emerging in the public universities, but they didn't know how to commercialize it. This is the weaknesses that we have in our public universities. So it's good that you are established in the UM R&D building. So I suspect UM projects are also there themselves at the same time. But my question would be, how do you model, how do you integrate the university's side into your venture? Do you give them equity, or do you that kind of thing?
Okay.
You can maybe ask another question and you can take it together. Is that right? Is that okay? Yeah. Professor Ghauth, first, I enjoyed your talk. I'm making a request. If you can write it out, take away some difficult parts, but get the issues across. You'll be doing a great service to all our public universities, because a lot of them may have your views as well, but cannot express it. Now you are a free man, you can express it. But number two, on Professor Ghauth, you know what you said is a case study of what is symptomatic, the problems in our country right across the board. To me, one word. That's why we are different from countries, we have lost out to countries that were behind us before. Meritocracy. Competition. I'll leave the talk with you. On Dr. Vincent, my old friend and colleague, national unity and all that, I think you seem to have very good plans, but I feel uneasy as to how far you have gone and whether you're on the right track. Now, in regard to Sunway, we will want to offer all the collaboration. Prof. Ghauth, Mr. Pang, e-banking, all those, will testify to that. But can you explain a bit more what this whole project is about? I'm not aware. Thank you.
Thank you very much. With regard to the Malaysia Innovation Hub, like the other day you were at the Ministry of Higher Education and I was introduced as the man who's supposed to help on the innovation part for the various universities and to help the universities to commercialize whatever innovations that they have. So I've done that every single university that I've gone to. Yesterday was in USIM, for example, University of Science Islam Malaysia. Before that I was in UPM, sorting out Center for Excellence for Biodiversity for all the herbal things. And before that, USM with Professor Omar Kadir, which you know. I set up 5 companies for him. Most difficult man, but brilliant guy. And every university have this sort of problems. I have been working on this for some time together with Dr. Asma, Dr. Asma, the DG. And she said, Vincent, hearing from you and trying to help you to resolve many of your problems dealing with the professors, I think you have to write a book how to deal with professors. That is the reality. It is not easy. And yet, let's say, USIM is such a simple university in Nilai. And after yesterday, I have already committed to one particular project, and it will be commercialized. But on the other hand, I am bringing USIM into Hong Kong. What am I doing with USIM in Hong Kong? I'm setting up a halal course on food and on Sharia compliances. You know who are the customers? China, Hong Kong, Taiwan. They just want to know what is all this Sharia compliance and halal certification is all about. And they've been chasing me. And I told USIM, would you like to come and participate in this program? I will put you up in one of the universities there. Hong Kong City University, Polytechnic, or HKUST. And they agreed. So by just one simple arrangement, the Chinese traders, under the so-called one belt, one road policy, will then be able to have more understanding what it means to deal with Islamic countries. Simple. Now coming back to business model to do commercialization in the universities. Different universities have different policies. Let's say I deal with UPM, for example. UPM will say, Vincent, I will only provide consultancy for you for the road system, for the prefab system for longhouses in Sarawak, or whatever. So I said, fine, I'm okay with that. But when I go to University Malaya, or let's say in University USM, so USM, U-Science Holdings, they take 20% of all the companies that I deal with. So I set up for Omar Kadir. So Omar Kadir will take a share out of the 20% share given to the university. So I would then have ITRI as my partner from Taiwan, so they take a certain block of share. I will have certain funders, they will take a certain block of shares. So at the end of the day, the project get moving, the marketing plan get moving, funds come, the products are actually shown to the market. We signed up with, let's say on agar oil, I have signed up with suppliers of agar oil trees of, let's say in Sarawak, 100,000 trees, in Pahang, 45,000 trees, in UUM, they are giving me 100 of trees, 100 acres of trees. So these are all part and parcel of business models. As I said, every business has different model. My training is a lawyer. I'm a corporate lawyer, Masters of Law in Corporate Law, and I also lecture in the circuit even before I joined the government on IP law. In fact, I've got many intellectual property patents under my name. So doing companies, setting up business plans, tying up with foreign countries, working with them is second nature to me. So I would like to benefit our Malaysian universities. And in fact, I think some of your professors dealing with me, only take 1 hour and then we can have how many companies to be formed with proper business plan. Yeah? When I was in the government, I was very ambitious. I set up the National Harmony Act. I was the one behind it, and I took a lot of flack for it. I worked with Tan Sri Ramon on the National Unity Council, and we also took a lot of flack for it. So getting flack, getting scolded, being accused of manipulating the Malays and all sort of things. Don't worry, I've been through all that. And yet, the government still see me useful in certain things, and I'm still here. I'm an advisor not only to the MOHE, I'm an advisor to MOSTI, I'm an advisor to the Ministry of Domestic Trade, I'm an advisor to quite a number of other ministries as well, on how to bring their ministries to the next level. So in a way, I'm still serving the nation. I always tell people, don't mistake a political party for the country. In fact, they're not even the government. A political party is not the Malaysian government. And the Malaysian government is not the country. We have to be very, very specific. Of course, people would like to argue against that. But for me, my philosophy is always very, very simple when I was in the government. I said, instead of cursing at the darkness, why don't you light a candle instead? That's what I do. Tan Sri Ramon has known me for years, and he will find me, Vincent, you are most patient man dealing with your Prime Minister. But that's what we do. We will do our very best, no condemnation, and always look for the best in everybody, always look for the diamonds in the rough. So on this, I hope it's a satisfactory answer to Tan Sri and also to Dato'. Thank you.
Actually, Vincent has never told me about the virgin. I really must scrutinize and ask for details because this is a virgin who has been married 3 times. Boy.
You should refer to Professor Duck.
He knows what secrets to keep, isn't it?
I thought lawyers would do it.
But coming to your point, Tan Sri Ramon, you are correct. What is happening in the education, higher education scenario is reflective of all sectors currently in the country. I don't want to comment so much on the politics of what is going on in the country now. But what I'm saying is that I think the rakyat wants to see positive things happening. But somehow different layers of the rakyat has got different levels of understanding, different layers of education and so on. So I suppose we have to give time to the rakyat to understand the whole scenario. There are some who are so much advanced and know so many things, and there are some who are still trying to understand and things like that. But at the end of the day, it will have to be the collective effort, collective understanding of the rakyat. You know? So those who are already advanced needs to be patient and hoping that at the lower end they will understand and be educated to the level. But nobody likes things which are negative and which is bad for the country. Nobody. You ask orang kampung pun, they will hate it. You know? That's for sure. And at the end of the day, I always believe that if anybody is not straight, if anybody cheats, they will pay the price one day. It will come to them. You know, you do good for people, you get the reward. You do bad, you get the punishment. That's for sure. So the only the good thing about our country is that you know, with all these things happening, people are not rioting on the streets and so on. Of course, you see some of these riots, and so all these are orchestrated, I think, but that's not what the general population wants anyway, you know. So I think we have to be patient, but at the same time, wherever appropriate, wherever safe, we do comment in order to help for people to be educated. Even among my relatives and so on, not everybody understands what's happening in the country. But by the day, more and more people are understanding it, and more people are not happy with whatever is not proper lah. You know, I mean, when I go back to the kampung, I meet some my nephew and so on. In the old days, you comment anything not right about the administration, they are angry with you. They think you are so anti this and anti that. But today when you meet them again, they say they gave up. So that's the mood. You know, I'm not trying to sway opinion in any way, but I think the rakyat knows at the end what they want lah. At the end, you know. How far can we be fooled? At the end of the day, we will realize what is good, and I think we all nations want what is good for everybody. That's the truth lah sebenarnya. Because we know that this is a great country. We want peace and prosperity for everybody, and hopefully there'll be more Vincent Wong to bring more money and prosperity to everybody. Again, I must remind you. The extraordinary thing about this MIH and what Vincent is doing is that he's putting his money, you know. If this thing all fails, he loses all the money. I don't lose anything, you know. But if he makes fantastic money from all this, I'm not so sure what I'll get also. I've never been promised anything, but I'm happy to help because I know one thing: if this whole thing is successful, the university will benefit. At least, okay, it's a worthwhile cause lah, to be associated with, you know what I mean? It's okay. So I'm trying my best to make sure that whatever Vincent does, whatever MIH does, will bear fruits, will give money. And I think in some of the projects, if you really take off and can make money, I think this will help the university's budget, that's for sure. You know, so I'm looking at it from that angle lah, you know. And since he's putting in all the money and so on, if he doesn't make it, he's in trouble. And I don't think he wants to get into trouble. Okay. And I also do know, which he has forgotten to mention, yeah, that there are certain projects which I think, if all goes right, within 1 or 2 months should be producing money juga for the projects that is already about to be delivered on site, tested and so on. Within a few months, I think should be generating money, and we should see money going into the university system. But the interesting is this. This system, I mean, one example that I know that is already, you know, out in the market and so on. Earlier on, nobody took notice. But now when Vincent bring it on board, hey, it's becoming important, the product. You know? So sometimes it is who is that person who takes it up actually more than anything else. You believe that in life? It's the same thing. But when this was brought about into the public and being used in the public, just forgotten like that. But now, given the right contact, given the right connection, and bringing it to the people who can make decisions, potential to make millions already. So sometimes in life is who is the one bringing up the matter. It's more important than anything else. Betul tak? So I think MIH and with Vincent, with all this connection and so on, I think something will happen. In fact, if for example the high-tech park near KLIA that he wants to set up works out, that is billions of dollars punya contribution to the country, you know, if that works. That will help to revive our economy. Definitely. So this is actually very important effort, and I think we should pray hard it works, you know. and such that our economy will not be so bad lah at the end of the day. So this is the whole story, about what he's doing and so on. And coming back to the topic that I've explained, the blessing behind all this, I think this is a major correction in our higher education system that will rationalize everything again. My personal feeling is that established universities with good agenda, with a good vision like Sunway will survive. There's no issue about it. But unfortunately down there where the owners of those universities who has gone into this for personal punya financial gain semua ni, they may have problems lah. But I think at the end of the day, people with noble intention and do it correctly and with a very good team will make it. I think that is the whole story behind all this. So whatever you do, including running university, make sure whatever aspect we are involved in, make sure we contribute positively and with good intention. Jangan we are inside there and we are putting spanners here and there, unnecessarily dan sebagainya, and not adding value to the whole exercise. I think then we will have problem lah. I think this is what the whole thing is all about. So I think despite a lot of despair that's going on with regards to the economy or perhaps some religious punya misunderstanding or whatever, but there's a brighter side to all this. And we all know that all Malaysians want peace, want progress, want good for everybody anyway. Everybody. Only the mad will think otherwise. Betul tak? You see? Even you talk to orang kampung ke, makcik kampung ke apa, they still want good things for everybody. That is the truth. Maybe 30 years ago, if you talk to Malays, ada juga semangat Melayu yang very anti Chinese ke apa. But today I don't hear that actually. In fact, you may hear that from politicians. But not from the ordinary people actually.
Sampai lagi.
You see? The politician. And you know why the politicians are doing that? For their own survival. Because tak ada modal lain kan? Betul tak? Dia tak ada modal lain. You see? Because, and not all politicians can be our role model anymore. Kan? I don't say all, I'm saying not all. Betul tak? Can be our role model, betul tak? And I think I'm not wrong. Yalah. And I'm not saying anybody.
I qualify that with not all, most MOST.
Okay, true. Because I think, you see, because I was reading Facebook yesterday, our rating in terms of corruption index even fell 4 points.
Yeah, behind wonder.
How can this be happening? Betul tak? And who likes this? Betul tak? So we are getting chased off by politicians who is leading us the wrong way. Betul tak? I'm not saying all politicians, but I'm saying some politicians has been trying to bluff us here and there, and I don't think we like it at all, But there are good ones, and we hope many more good ones will come up, and take the country on a different path. And I think with some patience, I think Malaysia will get back on track again. But I suppose the current economic downturn is trying to correct these things juga. It's all about a correction process, I think. So just continue to work hard and do good and positive and contribute positively into the whole system in whatever you do, whether education, economy, innovation, whatever. I think that's the whole message, I think, if I can summarize it correctly. Vincent? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Vincent, for the very thank you for coming to this forum. I would like to invite Tan Sri Nawa to give a token of appreciation to our speakers today.
Let me just hijack a minute from you and to say on behalf of all of you and the Sunway Group, I'd like you to join me in paying tribute to Prof. They've given us a wonderful presentation and we have all enjoyed it. Maybe we should call them for another session when they make money.
So I don't have to come if I don't make money.
Thank you.
Yeah. So Vincent will make the money quickly.
And we'll celebrate at the pyramid.